All right. Good morning, good noon, and good night, citizens of Upland. You are watching the Upland Action News. My name is LEFTHOUSE. Today is May 6th. The year is 2021, and I am joined by my co-hostesses and co-mostesses, my brother, Emmett E. Left. How are you doing today? How you doing? Are you muted? Are you just going to be muted your whole life?
I did it again. It seems like we're taking turns, Doc, muting ourselves at the top of the show here. I'm doing good, though. Feeling great. Another Thursday is upon us. Carol Baskins has a cryptocurrency that's out on the market now, apparently. So, yeah, feeling good.
That's right. She does. Dr. Unani, paging Dr. Unani. How are you today?
Hello,
Doctor.
Here, directly from the lab today. And big news today is EOS hitting all new highs, 50% up the last 8 hours or so.
Wow.
So I'm excited about that. And we'll talk about a lot of things in the YouTube.
Yeah, very good. EOS, we'll talk a little Carol Baskins. We're going to talk to Sascha Balley from MyBAE here in a little bit. But before we do that, well, let's just cover the news really quick. Let me see what is going on in Upland real quick, because I have not had time to look at that real quick, see if there's a new announcement. And it looks like there is a new announcement here coming in from X1 the Gamer, who was on the show the other day. Uplanders, the metaverse continues to grow. The next city being added to Upland is Staten Island, as we continue to make improvements and strive for a smooth city launch experience. We are planning for a partial release of Staten Island for Friday, May 7th, 10 a.m. PST. This release will serve us as both a test of our latest improvements to the infrastructure, as well as a means to provide smoother onboarding for new players. With affordable FSA properties, this release will include a significant amount of non-collection properties, only roughly 75% of which will be FSA. So not a lot for the old bees. but a bunch for the newbies. That's very good. We will be monitoring the launch and aiming for the full release of Staten Island sometime next week, alongside further improvements to the infrastructure. Remember, Staten Island is a starter city, which means that roughly 75% of the properties will be reserved for new players through the Fair Start Act. Please plan to participate with that in mind. You got to keep that in mind. So newbies, good for. Old bees, not so great for. But, it'll still be fun to go check out Staten Island. I should probably go jump on a plane, get over to the East Coast, because I've just been floating around back in good old San Francisco. So, yeah, it seems like that's all that's on the board right now for Upland. But you mentioned the Baskins, huh?
Yeah, I just heard of this right before we went live on air here.
Damn it, where is it? I did pull this up, too.
Carol Baskins.
Nope.
You know Carol Baskins, Doc?
Nope.
Oh, man. You're going to be introduced here.
I'll just have to pull it up again.
Well, let me talk about something else in the meantime while you find it, Brian.
Please.
First of all, I want to give a big shout out to one of our audience for the news I'm going to bring. DJ, thank you for bringing that to my attention. DJ, he's an awesome man. He's an old Royal Marine, so that goes for you, sir. And he just informed me that the game prospectors changed their login settings, and finally you can not use Wax anymore to log in, which is interesting. You can only use your Facebook or Gmail address. And
really,
I don't know what's going on down there. I would love to hear more from them, or if anybody else from the audience knows about it, please let us know. And be careful what's going on down there. I don't know.
I play a little bit of Prospectors. It's the same people that do Tribal Books, which I believe is the same company as Our Planet. Maybe there's like some, I don't know if it's the same crew that does but I know some of the people that worked on this one, kind of deal. But I don't know all the ins and outs. But yeah, that's interesting. I wonder why would you not be able to log in with your Wax wallet at this point? Like, why would you remove that feature? I'm curious. Anybody mentioning anything about it in the chat there?
I don't know, but the whole thing is weird because if you want to protect it from, let's say, double accounts or bots or anything, people can easily go and make fake Google accounts, emails, or whatever.
If you have your
Facebook and go in, so it makes no sense. I don't know what's going on there. I would love to hear about it and what the whole idea around it.
Yeah. The Wax wallets are, so simple and easy to make that. I mean, like, what's the deal with that? You don't really own your own keys in a Wax wallet, even if it's just like made push from a button, like off your social media Facebook hub thing, right? Like, it's better to sort of make one with an Anchor wallet, I think, or something outside. So you're like creating the keys.
Actually, if you want to really own this stuff, you have to do it with Anchor or Skate or any of the other outside wallets, because many people going and logging into Wax wallet, the cloud wallet, they actually use their Google connection, or there's a couple of other options there from social media. They don't even use the email itself. And many also don't turn on the 2FA security in the Wax cloud wallet. And please do. That's at least the least you should do. I know it's harder to claim things when you have the 2FA on, and the easiest way out is to have an account which has no 2FA, but get everything of your stuff, guys, in a secure place. At least turn on 2FA in one account and move things there. From the
definitely.
Solid advice.
Even better, go and get Anchor. Yeah, be safe.
And so we're looking at it right now. Carol Baskin launches Cat
Coin,
CAT coin, and donors of more than $500 between 4/19 and 5/7/2021 get on Cat Coin free. That's some Twitter that came out 2 days ago here, May 4th. I want to get some Cat Coin here. What's going on?
Oh goodness!
Now that you're talking about Twitter, I just got these tweets from a very famous guy with the initials CZ. He's the owner of Binance, by the way, for anyone that doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember everyone was tipping everyone else 20,000 Doge in 2014, laughing out loud.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I remember that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Be careful with your crypto, guys.
What is the Carol Baskin token on, I wonder? What is it, an Ethereum based token? What's you know, I can't find that information right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe it's its own blockchain. Maybe Carol started her own blockchain.
Big
you know, the
cat
Tiger
blockchain.
King. Tiger King, man, I wonder how he feels about this. He should start his own token from jail. But, yeah. Yeah, maybe we should help him with that. If you're out there, Tiger King, and you want help starting a token, maybe we should do it. There's a couple other things that popped up. What are meat bits and why the hype? What are meat bits? You get somebody want to explain these to me? I know I've seen them in the backgrounds here and there. I know they're selling for a lot. Have you guys looked into these things?
I have not looked into the meat bits.
Okay,
I
within
heard
8
about them,
hours, Lava Labs sold 9 million meat bit or 9,000 meat bits for approximately 22,500 ETH or $75 million. This makes the primary sell of this particular NFT collection one of the biggest NFT drops to date. At the moment, the secondary market is also heating up as certain rare editions already sold for amounts close to or over $1 million. The hype around these meat bits becomes particularly clear when looking at the top NFT sales for the past 24 hours. Oh, yeah, meat bits.
All right. Meat bits. It's almost like soy nugs. It's almost like soy nugs, but it's meat bits.
Yeah, they're like little, like they kind of look like CryptoPunk, 3D CryptoPunks, if you will.
No, yeah, they look pretty rad, I think. They look dope.
Alien Worlds hits 1 million active wallets. When did that happen?
That's been like
within this week.
Okay.
Last week's news, that's it.
Okay.
That's old news.
That's
okay, here we are on MyBAE here. We should maybe bring on Sascha Balley here and let's talk about this. Unless anybody else has, do you guys have any other news topics that you want to drop here before we get into
I just saw something kind of cool last night as I'm texting Sasha, let him know he's good to come in. I saw Yoshi Drops. Did either of you see Yoshi Drops?
No. What's that?
Okay, Yoshi Drops seems to be coming from our friends. Yoshi Drops is brought to you by Uplift.art. Okay.
Ah.
Yoshi Drops is a music. It is a digital vinyl platform. There we go. Sasha is in the house.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Lovely to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Before we go into that, I forgot to say that remember we were talking about yesterday about baby metal and the sale of the packs. Sold in seconds.
Yeah. I can imagine.
I didn't manage to get any.
Okay.
That fast.
Do you mean you don't mean Baby Metal, the J-pop band, do you?
Exactly, I do.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they had a drop this morning on Wax on Atomic Hub, and they put out like a collection of. I don't know. They were like, I was reading about it. It was like it seemed like you would get like a tangible gold record, you know, that they were giving to, like, I don't know if it was like the first 100 or something like that or whatever the deal was, but it was like something crazy. Yeah, that band is nuts, man. They're like every popular music genre balled into one with a lot of fire and, you know, Japanese animation like flying. It's insane. It's
kind of J-pop all over, right? Is just mash as many musical techniques as you can into one single type of band.
Yeah, and you're in Japan?
Yes. I've been here for the last year. We're planning to move the company here long term. We're currently the only NFT dedicated to art platform that's out here. So it's been really well received. We've got a show coming up. with a gallery called Ultra Super New, which is sponsored by Grow Your Base in the 25th of June. Oh, it's very soon. So yeah, we've been working towards that. Lots of amazing Japanese artists kind of joining every day on the BAE. So definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, that's super exciting. I was reading a little bit about the event. So this is the first event that you guys are putting on?
No, so we actually, as far as I know, we actually put the first ever crypto art show on in London of March of last year, and we did. As far as I know, that's one of the kind of first ones that was in a gallery setting at the Bloomsbury Gallery, and that was pretty well received. But it was still kind of at that point where people didn't really know what crypto art was. It was more just kind of the mavericks and the people who are new to this sort of space getting interested in what it was. But yes, it's as far as I know, that was kind of the first one, because the BAE was established in 2018, so we've been around for a really long time. We just didn't have the front end, so we were mainly working on kind of, I come from a curation background, so I've worked for the last 10 years, and then I kind of, without the technical knowledge, I got a smart contract built, and then just kind of went from there, and just made it work on a kind of non-technical sort of learning as I go sort of basis. And then recently we finally managed to build a fully web-free platform, which is the MyBAE.io.
It's amazing.
Okay,
so is it your creation then? Are you the
Oh no, I'm not the developer. So we've got a fantastic team, which I'm unbelievably lucky to find, and massive shout out to Pseudo Squad. You'll recognize them because if you see the Sakura in the bio, it's kind of a marker that they're part of the DAO. They're launching their own sort of DAO soon, for developers, but also just kind of interesting people. They've been fantastic, and honestly wouldn't have been able to achieve it without their help and support.
Yeah.
How let me just back all this up. So before there was MyBAE, you were curating art and you were doing shows in London. And okay, so where does this all start? Where like did you know you were working towards this MyBAE thing before, at this time?
Well, so the MyBAE name, our original name is blockchainartexchange.com, but that's a huge mouthful to make. So MyBAE actually kind of came out of a bit of a meme in a group that I was in, and we thought it might be quite funny to call it that because it's a play on words in like multiple ways. And then it just kind of stuck because it's short, to the point, and it's easy to remember. But I've been thinking about how to put kind of artwork on the blockchain since like 2014, when I saw Chris from Monograph did that speech at Couchbase, and that kind of really inspired me to think about how this would be possible. And the idea was, originally the idea was kind of sending Bitcoin transactions backward and forward and tracing art through that, but that's not really a great solution. And then it's impossible to talk about crypto art without mentioning them, but then CryptoKitties came along and kind of changed the game in the sense that they really showed that people were willing to pay for these digital items. Like they made it clear that was possible. And I thought, what was a more decentralized way of benefiting people and creating NFTs than artwork themselves, because the intrinsic value isn't just held in the tokens, it's also held in the artist, and every artist individually could be looked at as their own kind of market and their own ups and downs. And I think there's a lot more factors there than necessarily with just a single NFT project. There's no single point of failure. You've got like this wide spectrum of reasons why something would be valuable.
I like your view on that.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I'm just curious on how you go and process all these new applications of artists that I'm sure you're getting. How do you screen what's gonna go in your collection or not?
So MyBAE is actually a completely open platform, which was the dream from the beginning, but the start was the it had to be curated. I don't like the term curated. I feel like it's become muddied. It's more like gatekeeping, but the original platform was kind of gatekept just because of logistical purposes. But the idea with MyBAE is that anyone can come and upload, but we curate in the traditional sense. So we find people who are talented, we find people who are dedicated and really pushing their craft, and then we push them. We write artist profiles for them, create videos, do interviews, like curate in the way that a traditional sense of curation.
That's pretty rad. So you help work with the artists and build.
Yeah, I'd much prefer find someone who is incredibly talented, and this has always been my ethos since starting, before blockchain or anything like that, was finding people who are really talented and helping them on their way to becoming big artists, rather than, you know, cherry picking the ones who are already guaranteed to sell for a high price. I'd much prefer provide that support for people along the way and try and grow them. I think that should be the goal of crypto art in general. I think the jumping on of big names, it's quite, with the traditional art world, it's almost slightly humorous, because you see them jump on and they're a little late to the party. But it's almost, we've got our own sort of people who have come up, and I think they're finding it quite hard to deal with the fact that it's almost like a reset for a lot of these people, and they have to start from scratch. They have to rebuild that name. They have to rebuild everything that they were before.
Yeah.
And if I may also ask, how do you feel of your choice on listing your NFTs on the ETH chain with all the high gas fees that they have now? Because practically that makes it impossible to have any, let's say, if I put it like cheap price-wise pieces in there, because it's too much to move them around.
Definitely, I think that's a major issue, but I almost think so before, you know, I've been in crypto for a long time, and I remember the Bitcoin transaction fee fiasco, when everyone was going, oh my God, it's $400 to send Bitcoin from one person to another. And then Bitcoin Cash got invented, and then within 3 or 4 months, suddenly the transaction fees went back down to almost zero. So, you know, practically speaking. So I'm kind of the mindset that let's wait and see. And recently with the, I believe it was called Berlin upgrade, it does seem to have had an impact and at least reduced gas fees by a significant amount. Still not enough, but I can see by the time there's a massive adoption of layer 2 solutions, they will probably not be needed. And that's kind of where I see the same thing with Bitcoin Cash, where I mean, I think Bitcoin Cash is still going. It's you know, it's still a thing, but it's not exactly the, you know, you would much prefer have a Bitcoin over Bitcoin Cash.
Right. But why not, for example, do like dual listing or be in multiple platforms? Is that something you would consider?
Definitely, I'm definitely not a maxi. In fact, it took me a really long time to come around to the idea of using ETH at all. It seemed from the beginning, when I was building the BAE, and a lot of people would think this sacrilege, but I was actually considering EOS as a better solution, just because of the fact that it could handle more transactions theoretically anyway. But I would be interested in doing cross-chain solutions, but the expense and the time that goes into them, I'd much rather build cool things and put that time and energy into building interesting things that benefit artists and create ways of them making more money than worrying too much about how much it costs to get in the door. I do think it's a problem, but it's almost bad to say, but I almost feel like it will probably work itself out. It's just in crypto, there's not only a lot of people who are quite impatient, but there's a lot of projects that like to use it as an opportunity to push their agenda. For instance, when Ethereum gas fees were really high, there are a lot of pictures floating around of people exploiting the MetaMask glitch, where you have insufficient funds and it suddenly puts the gas up to like 10 grand, but it's not actually that high. And people were like, "Oh my god, Ethereum gas is this much," and it was almost this. You could tell it was done in a disingenuous way to try and push people away from Ethereum. It's like, yes, they are high, and you've got this huge, you know, they're maybe $100, $200, which is ridiculous, but you don't have to go around telling people that they're $2,000.
No, of course. Lying is a different whole story than saying what it is. But
yeah,
that doesn't change the fact that there is an issue, and until they fix it, I personally feel that the competitors will have an edge, and whoever grabs the market first, he will have at the end a competitive advantage. But that's my point.
I mean, I don't disagree. I just I don't know. I just feel
like it might be too late when they fix it.
Yeah, I know, but I feel
taking a lot of time.
That's true, but the Berlin upgrade definitely has made a significant difference. So I think the thing with ETH is they don't really like to tell people that they're about to do an upgrade because they want to avoid hard forks. So a lot of the time it just kind of happens, and then suddenly stuff starts to improve over time. Gas fees are starting to go back up, so whatever they fixed seems to again be becoming a problem. But I don't know. I would rather spend the money and the time and the effort on doing in real life art shows, providing the gas for the artists to upload from the BAE profit and bringing people on, and then once they start selling, they can start funding that themselves.
Well, look, let me ask this: what at the same time, you know, it seems like everywhere. Like, you know, like we're coming from like Upland, you know, and like Upland is every time they do a release recently, the system's been a little bit like slow and boggy, and they're constantly, you know, working to
scaling
improve
solutions
it and stuff. Yeah, and you know, the thing is they'll fix things, so they think, but then 3 times the amount of people are showing up, you know, and this is, you know, not on ETH, but my question is like, there's a lot of people coming into the space right now. Like, how's business is what I'm saying. Like, is it better than it is, even though the gas prices are crazy, or is it like slowed down because of the gas prices? If I can ask that question.
Of course. It's all in the public ledger anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. I would say that things slowed down. Higher price work still sell. The rate of uploads has definitely slowed down, and our original target audience is shifted a little bit. But I do think that so like my focus on in real life shows, bringing people on in that way. I think that that's the solution to this, is to kind of worry about building stuff and maybe step back a little bit from the tech and kind of I guess the word would be make the whole space a bit more aspirational and a bit more understandable to people, because I think when, you know, we're losing my train of thought a tiny bit. When we're moving into kind of the space where all these celebrities are joining and things like that, the aspirational aspect is almost being lost. And I think that we need to show people that it can be for everyone. And I think that if people want to use solutions like you know, the other ones that are out there, the Wax, there's what's the one that's bigger than Polygon, yeah. And I think if people want to use those in the meantime, I think that's great. But I think the mere fact that ETH's gas is so high is testament to the fact that so many people are using it. If people switch away and people decentralize out and start using other platforms, we'll see ETH gas prices drop, and then people will come back to ETH. And, you know, it's almost a self-correcting system in that manner. And I think that the Ethereum ecosystem has grown such a large size now, it's going to be pretty hard for any other platform to really kind of take over. It's been, you know, it's been 3-4 years in the making, the ecosystem of Ethereum. It's going to take a long time for people to kind of transfer all of that over to a new chain.
And isn't Isn't Binance and all these other things just copies and forks of ETH anyway? Like when it's all said and done, it's kind of like that's what they're doing is copying.
Well, I think Binance is almost centralized ETH, isn't it? In a funny sort of way. But I mean, I actually, again, I do think cross-chain solutions are great. And I also think that it's almost slightly anti-crypto to go, we're going to decentralize everything and put everything on one chain. So I don't think there necessarily needs to be one chain. I think
Right.
I think that there's space for other ones. There's space for different use cases. I just think that over time, ETH it just seems to be on a trajectory where you know, it will be the biggest thing. The example that I always like to use is you've got HTTP and you've got Xanadu. And if Xanadu was created and used, blockchain probably wouldn't have even been needed. But we ended up using HTTP because it was ready first, and it wasn't necessarily the best solution, but it was the most widely adopted solution. I mean, you can make the same thing with VHS and Betamax. There's tons of examples like that, which throughout kind of technology where people haven't adopted the best technology, but they've adopted the most convenient, or they've adopted the one that marketed themselves in the best way.
Yeah, definitely. And so what do you have planned for MyBAE? Is there anything that you're, that's coming soon to the platform or that you're excited about?
Yes, so I'm super excited about the updates that are happening to the UI. It's finally taking shape. It's becoming the platform that I kind of always dreamed it would be. We've got new updates coming out tomorrow. Obviously, we have our own token, which the advantages of using, which is called BAE, which the advantages of using is if you use it on this platform, it has 0% commission. We also do an awards-based system, which is pretty unique. So the problem that I saw with other systems is obviously wash trading and taking advantage of it in that way. So I wanted to build an incentivized based system instead. So you can earn our token by doing activities on the website, and those activities might not necessarily be selling a lot. They could be following a lot of people, or gaining a lot of followers, or liking artworks, or getting likes, or tweeting, or kind of experimenting with these different ways of token distribution that don't have to be just money based. I think that's we've almost entered quite a narrow space of thinking everything just has to be about the money in the market, when we can think more widely and think in a more interesting way. And I think that's what I'm trying to achieve with the BAE token.
Yeah.
We also reward liquidity providers to provide kind of a stable ecosystem.
Yeah, nice. And do any of the NFTs that you guys work with or like come with like DeFi capabilities, or are you guys like gonna do anything like that with your token? Or
so you actually have a role token as well, right? If I'm correct. So BAE is a role based token.
Okay.
And we were originally, and way back, if you watch our original video, we talked about this idea of creating stock markets or allowing people to kind of invest in artists. And with the combination of role tokens and social tokens and Uniswap, which is what we use a unique Uniswap sales contract. You can do that already, so that problem kind of got solved. I am interested in the concept of, and I'm not sure exactly how this would be executed, but the concept of being able to fractionalize either an artist or an artist's collection, and then people invest in it. But I don't know exactly how you would. So it's easy to go about fractionalizing a collection. There's loads of services that do that. But how you would go about fractionalizing an actual artist so you could have people invest in that person would be an interesting thought. And then down the line, people could, receive some sort of payment when that artist sells for initially believing in them and giving them the money to fund their show. So I've lost the word for it, but when an artist has a benefactor, so something like that's creating a kind of blockchain system for that sort of idea.
That's very cool.
Is definitely something I'd be interested in doing. And then other than that, I always like to, not being development focused. I play around with a lot of things. So we have a VTuber who's constantly evolving, and I probably pour a bit too much money into her, but that's my own personal project. So that's kind of
Now, what is that? A VTuber?
Yeah, we have a so BayPay-chan was created to market our kind of token, and it started out as just being like a mascot. And I've been in Japan for a while, and I started to notice, I was like, well, every company has a mascot, and every company has these kind of digital creations. And I was like, that's something maybe we could use and export. And then it ended up becoming more of a personal sort of passion project that I fell down a rabbit hole with. It's a whole nother thing that's going on over there, like on the internet at the moment. So that's definitely kind of a fun. That's more of a fun thing, but also I feel like it all kind of gels together quite nicely with the virtual metaverse and everything.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I was on MyBAE last night. I minted my first piece up there, and I felt some of what you were talking about with the options and just learning how it works. I liked it a lot. It felt easy to navigate, and the choices that you have up there working with other social tokens. Very cool stuff.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. I'd love to get your token listed. Uniswap V3 is kind of thrown a spanner in the works, and we've got to upgrade our sales contract. But I definitely would love to have the left house. Is it LEFTHOUSE token?
Yeah, left it goes by, but yeah, LEFTHOUSE, either one. Yeah, that would be great.
For sure.
And like to kind of what you're saying, like I feel like there's sort of like different audiences on the different chains. Like I feel like with the wax community, there's definitely like a lot of gaming pieces or gaming, like a lot of things kind of centered around that in a way, where like in the ETH based world, you'll get more like it just feels like more art kind of comes out of there, like out of that world. So I feel like you're definitely gonna get different kinds of collectors, in the different spaces. And I'm just curious, like the concept of bridges and all this stuff that are coming. Like, do you think it even matters what chain you're on? Like once these bridges like are here and we're like, like we're like, say we're 3 years from now, what do you think all of this stuff looks like at that point?
I'm hoping that you're right. I'm hoping that basically it will become this this decentralized, centralized system where everything will be cross-chain and you'll be very easy to transfer from one to the other. And I feel like that's just some dedicated coders and a few GitHubs away from being a thing that happens. Like I know that there's, when I've been looking around and just kind of interested, there is actually already a Doge Ethereum project that exists on GitHub, just no one's implemented it yet. So I feel like these things that are out there, it just takes teams to go for them, and people are very comfortable getting into the groove of what they're doing. And for instance, if we were to ever build a smartphone app, Ethereum is just not fit for purpose. There's beta things that you can install, but they're kind of risky. You have to put your private key. You have to put the private key into the app. They're not suggested for full use. So if we ever wanted to build something like that, we would need to think about using something flow and creating a bridge between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's pretty simple. Like for my view, it's like you cannot have games on ETH because every transaction is $30-40 at least. It's practically impossible. You're gonna run a huge tab. Only billionaires.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. And that's why you only see art pieces there, because the pieces that they sell there, they sell for a couple of thousands of dollars at least.
Yeah.
So having a $30 transaction fee, if you're gonna spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, is not such a big deal, whether compared to going and buying something for 100 and 200. But my point, not against it, but I feel that this is a big barrier because we want the masses to come into the crypto area, to the NFTs, to the whole space, and they will not if the cost is so high.
Yeah,
everybody starts with something small, like $5, $10, $20, whatever it is.
I
don't
actually
know how you feel about that.
completely agree with you when it comes to gaming. I think ETH at this point isn't fit for purpose unless you are using centralized systems that then decentralize outwards when you want them to, but then custodial, there's a whole thing with custodial wallets. But I actually fully agree with you. I don't think ETH is fit for purpose for gaming in its current state. I think that it is much more about collectibles and it is much more about arts because, like you said, of the high transaction costs. If we're talking games, I mean, we really need something that's almost free to use. It needs to be, in the pennies, the sort of transaction fees.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you go and see, for example, the Binance Smart Chain, which is practically Ethereum, the fees with some tweaks, it's still cents. And yes, the fees that you see now, Ethereum going even higher, makes sense that you see them going higher because Ethereum is hitting all-time highs. So even if the same amount of ETH is asked as a transaction, the cost in fiat it's much higher because the ETH is now in $3,000+ per coin. So unless something radical happens, and I don't see that happening until version 2 or different things that they are proposing take place, I don't see how things are going to work out in the long term. And yes, a lot of demand is there, but the majority of demand that I see has to do more with DeFi and coins and finance rather than our NFTs and our space.
Definitely. I mean, like I said, I don't really
Nothing
intrinsically.
Don't get me wrong.
No, and I'm not an ETH maxi at all. So I just think that I just think that I just feel like we've been here before, and maybe that's me being foolish, but I do feel like we've been here before with Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, and the system self-corrected. Everything eventually worked out, and Bitcoin transactions cost almost nothing now. They're down to low levels. So I don't. Obviously, ETH wasn't designed to work like Bitcoin. You've got smart contracts, you've got code executions and things, but I don't know. I just feel like this. I really have the feeling that this is going to be a problem that almost solves itself. There's roll-ups coming out, I think, relatively soon, and so then they'll do
a lot of big developers in the space working on ETH projects and working on solutions right now for sure. I mean, I've heard flow bots recently have come on hot lately, and like a lot of the big names that I know of or have heard of, which is not many, but I'm new to like looking into developers, but I see they're all working on ETH solutions for sure.
Yeah, it's just got, I think what ETH did right from the beginning, and I think this is probably the reason why ETH beat EOS, was they just did really good documentation of how to do things, and they really got the right developers on board, and they kept it quite easy to use, and they made it very familiar. With Solidity being relatively simple, similar to something like Python. Whereas with EOS, it's more like C++. So you've got I think that they just made the right decisions from the outset that created an environment that was easy for people to jump in.
I love that one of the awards is Norman supporter. We're big Norman comics lovers, and he's actually coming on the show next week. So it's really cool. That's actually the how I first heard of MyBAE was from Norman.
Same here. Yeah, he's big ups you guys for sure. And,
this is fantastic. I mean, I think Norman's one of the best artists and most underrated artists in the space as well. He needs to, his style's unique. His stuff is it's outlandish, and there's nothing quite like it. And I definitely think that Norman deserves a lot more, and I think he'll get it. I think it's just it takes almost two years for some of these artists to start selling. Like Tom Badley's a great example. Is he sells out in seconds sometimes, but that's because he's been doing this for 2 years. He's one of the original people. So I think that after you're in the space for that long, and as long as you keep hammering at it, and obviously it becomes harder and harder. To your point, it's very true, because now the difference was when Tom was starting, it was pennies to mint stuff. Now it's $15, $20. So it does become more difficult now. But I'm confident that solutions will arise, and I think that if we can provide the opportunities to normalize and to create a kind of aspirational space, I think that it will grow. More people will want to be involved, and I think that I genuinely think that crypto art's probably the best thing that ever happens to crypto in terms of people actually accepting it as a legitimate thing. It recovered everything from the ICO market. It's almost suspicious how well received crypto art's been by the mainstream media and everything like that. It almost makes you a little bit like, hey, what's going on here? Saturday Night Live making those things and everyone just being really into it. It's almost a bit strange how much people like it, but it definitely has done a huge service for making it feel, because I think the goal of making artists able to make money is something that everyone can get behind. It's very hard to get behind a bunch of companies creating tokens to fund their projects, and essentially what the ICO market was a faux stock market. But it's very easy to get behind empowering an individual where they weren't able to make money before.
Oh, absolutely. We had a guest on the other day who he I'm part of an NFT comic called METAVERSE, and we had our drop over the weekend, and this guy he got a card in one of the packs that he bought that was he was able to buy himself a computer because of this card, and he desperately needed a computer, and it was like the coolest thing in the world to hear that, you know what I mean, that there was like, oh my god, that you were able to take this card from our collection and go buy a computer, then we're doing our job. This is working then, you know what I mean? The whole system is working in a weird way. Like, whether you want to collect it and hold on to it forever, or you want to like sell it and buy yourself a computer because you need one, great. Then we're winning. Yeah. Crypto's winning.
Exactly. It's fixing the financial system, and it's doing it in the most logical and kind of free market way. I think is absolutely fantastic to see what crypto's done for so many people. I read a statistic, I don't know if this is true, but something like it's close to 90% of people in crypto have actually made money. So I think that as a space, it's generally very positive. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the ICO market who didn't make money. That statistic might be a little bit out there. But I do think that you've got a lot higher chance of having accessibility to resources and changing lives in crypto from anywhere in the world for people, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I definitely have a collection that I'm working on that I feel like MyBAE would be the right home for it. So we'll have to talk more about that as I get closer to finishing this crazy collection.
Yeah, and that's a very high-end collection. That would fit perfectly there, I think.
Oh, thank you. That would be amazing. I mean, that's like, so that's my goal is to kind of create a space which is open to everyone, but still manages to maintain quality. And I think that's something that we do through I think the achievement system and things like that. You can incentivize people to create better work and to want to do better. And I think going back to the other systems that are based on just kind of pure sales, they almost incentivize people to do less. And that's what I want to do. I want to uplift kind of the market, and also for collectors. I coming from an art background, and the crypto art market is revolutionary and crazy at the same time by the fact that you can buy something for $100 and then flip it for $200, which in traditional art was impossible. You could maybe buy something for $100 and then in 10 to 20 years if you bought the right artwork, flip it for $200,000. But the idea of flipping it at that rate and for those small amounts is next to it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So my perspective is to think more in terms of 10 years or 5 years, and whether this artist is going to be valuable and why this artist is going to be valuable long term, which has both its drawbacks and its advantages. But I think long term it will be the right tactic to go down.
How many people are working with you on MyBAE, or is it just you?
So for the longest time, originally we were a team of 5. Then we had investment. They decided that it was a terrible idea and they wanted nothing to do with it, so they left us, and I ended up being like, well, I'm not going to give up on this thing, and I just did it myself until around 2020, late 2020. And then I found a fantastic dev from Vietnam who built all of our who upgraded all of our smart contracts, and then Pseudo Squad recently, who have built the front end. So we've expanded from a team of kind of me and one guy, who my business partner, who was kind of part-time, to a team of, there's probably about 15 people working on it now, between kind of curators, gallery artists, translators, developers, and kind of we've got, because since moving to Japan as well, a lot of people have jumped on board and wants to be a part of it. We've got marketers here. We're kind of really it's amazing to see it pick up speed.
Excellent. Yeah, super cool. Well, awesome. Well, thanks for coming and taking the time and sharing this with us and chatting with us about it all. Like I said, I definitely will reach out to you once I get this collection together, because this seems to be the spot. I really do like a lot of the art I'm seeing on here, and the site definitely functions really well. So yeah, thanks a lot for joining us.
If before saying goodbye, it reminds me of going to galleries in London. So maybe inspirations from there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you can, I keep going back to this idea of curating by incentive, but it's almost just, if you show people something, other people will want to emulate it, and all the sites do this in a funny sort of way. They become their own personality, and I think MyBAE is getting that sort of, what I hope to achieve is kind of the outsider artist, the underground artist sort of vibe. And if Paris Hilton came and joined the platform tomorrow, she wouldn't get any special treatment over anyone else, because to me, I'm just looking at the quality of the artwork. But sorry, I'm trading off again. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, and I really do appreciate being on and talking about it all. It's great to
awesome.
Yeah, very cool to meet you for sure, and look forward to future chats and collaborations, definitely.
Yeah, and anytime you want to come back, if you have some new updates or things that are going on with you or MyBAE, and you want to chat about it, you always have a place here to come and do it.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I really appreciate it, and definitely have a look at finishing for, I guess, have a look at our currency, have a look at our token.
It's definitely,
it's definitely something to I think we offer quite a lot of interesting benefits for people.
That's for awesome. Sure. Yeah, we'll take a look at that for sure, and we'll put some links up to your. Well, I've already dropped some MyBAE links, but we should definitely drop some links to your token too in the.
We wanted to drop it already in the Discord server.
Okay, great.
Oh, fantastic! I'll make sure to join as well. I'll be in there.
All right, cool, sweet. So we're gonna. You can hang out. Wait, go on, Doc.
We got the after party. People, sorry, if you can join us on the after party, or you just jump into the Discord, I'm pretty sure people there would love to ask you various questions they have about your project, and you can interact with the community over there.
Yeah, I would love it. Is it voice chat based? Because I
don't know. It's chatting right now. No voice based.
Okay. Yeah.
You just go and type in and.
Send me
everybody's on the after party right now. I'm guessing one of the brothers will send you the link to join in. I don't have your
Yeah, and will you send them a link there? I'm gonna open
Will
up
right now.
and Sascha, you can hang out, or if you need to go, that's totally cool too. We're gonna spin the wheel for some of our rabbit hole NFTs here for a little bit, because we always have to give away something on our show. So I'm gonna open up the. I just pinned the Google form there in the YouTube chat. So I'm opening that form now. So if you want to add your wax addresses form, give it, go for it. You'll win a
I mean, I'm happy to hang out. I'll be quiet and I'll just chill out. I can. By the way, it is 5 a.m. for me, but I haven't slept, so it's perfectly acceptable for me to be drinking beer.
Great. Right. All right. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, if you want to go, you're more than like we don't want to hold you up.
I'm fully awake now.
Okay.
I'm all for it. I might disappear and grab another one, but I'm yeah.
Great. All right. Awesome. All right. So while the addresses are collecting in the background, we have to play our spin it effer intro here. So let me drop that video real quick. All right, that's our little spin the wheel intro video that our collaboration with the Nasty Hooks. So now let's bring in our wheel spinning music. All right, the music by world famous Tuxo Music, who wrote this song for us to enjoy while we spin the wheel. And that's happening. So we got 92 responses. We got 27 people watching right now.
I think that's more than enough.
21 likes. Yeah, I think so. Closing the thing, and the response is going to grab all the skills. Copy, pasting.
Spin the wheel. I love that little intro. So good.
Yes. All right. Let me get the wheel up here and show everybody what we're looking at here. Okay. Zoom it. Where'd you go? There you are. All right. All right. Now the wheel is up. There's the wheel. Let me clean it up a little bit here. Probably a little dirty. And you guys can talk amongst yourself, or help me try to clean the wheel. Oh, there's one with a couple.
Sascha, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 26.
Oh, yeah, you look like a young man.
Yeah. I've been married for 9 years now.
Amazing.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
How is it for I'm guessing a Londoner moving to Japan?
It's actually pretty the cultures aren't as different as you think. It's kind of funny to meet Japanese people who've never left Japan, and they think that they still have a vision of London, I guess, in the 60s or the 50s, when it was kind of very tea and crumpets, and it's much more Vinnie Jones now. And it's kind of it's funny. I mean, I would say Japan's probably one of the easiest countries to assimilate to living in. Everyone's very welcoming. Everyone's very kind of easygoing. The language is relatively easy at first, but gets challenging as you go on. And the 3 different, that part's always difficult with moving anywhere. But it's nice here. It's kind of no complaints. I almost I quite. You can see where tax money goes, and I almost don't mind paying tax for the first time in my life, which is kind of mad to say, especially as a crypto person.
Very cool. All right. I think we have a wheel here, folks. I think we're ready to spin it. So we'll spin it 5 times. Let's keep it simple, and we'll spin 5. Here we go. First one, wheel spins now. 5 rabbit holes, random. I'll give them out after the show. We'll make this quick and dirty here. You don't know what you're getting, but you're getting something. And we have our first winner. So our first winner is R102. A.Y.George Congratulations. Winner, winner.
It's a regular.
All right. Go on to the next spinner. Spinner number 2. For another random rabbit hole. I'll make them all pretty interesting too. I'll give out 5 interesting ones today. Almost over the line, but no. CQCR2.wham. Congratulations for a rabbit hole winner. The wheel spins again the 3rd time. Round and round. VNALU.wham. Congratulations.
That is getting easier with it.
Yeah.
Wheel is on fire.
Yeah.
All right, that was 3 spins. We'll spin it for the 4th. 4 spins. Down the hole we go. And we have a winner. IP3AW.George Micah. Congratulations. And the big grand prize here, give away the highest level rarity thing that I can find in the collection. And boom, the wheel spins. Music playing in the background, and we have a winner. KMOQY.wham.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right, so we've spun it to win it. We've win it to spin it.
Oh, Flower won. Congrats, Flower.
Oh, right on. Very, very cool.
Very fitting.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so what a show, what a show, what a show. Thanks again, Sascha, for joining us. And Doctor, always thank you so much. Tomorrow.
Before we go, real quick, since we're on the art tip and gallery tip,
yes,
tonight I will be taking my son Zion. The entire family's going. You're welcome to join if you would like. An NFT gallery pop-up in Venice Beach, California, is opening tonight with a soft open. The Bright Moments NFT gallery, and it's right
cool.
along the Venice Beach sign. We walk into the boardwalk there, so we're gonna go check it out. Gonna take some photos, have a good time over there.
You take some video too, and you come back with a whole segment. I want a whole edited segment, a whole news story about the NFT. This is a tangible NFT gallery. That's really cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, right up
and
your alley.
And it's like it's got to do with a DAO and showing up, like popping up all around the world, and so it seems pretty cool. The Bright Moments Gallery.
Right on.
Next time we should do like a live when you do this, and have Emmett reporting live from the NFT gallery.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
That would be awesome.
Oh yeah, that's really great. Oh man, and I forgot to even tell you, I spent like hours upon hours upon hours in Leftland building. I'll bring it tomorrow. I'll show you what I've been working on there. And also, of course, tomorrow is our famous Crypto Monkey Friday. So
yes.
Tune in for that. It'll be wild. All righty, let's get out of here, folks.
Yep.
Good morning. Wait, one more? Doc, one more? No? You guys ready?
What?
All right. Good morning, good noon, and good night. We'll see you in the metaverse.